This past weekend was absolutely insane. I usually bring these videos to you guys instantly after the game ends, but in this instance, I was so burnt out from covering Tom Brady on Saturday, in addition to Damon Arnett getting released by the Kansas City Chiefs. If you guys missed all of this, go on to my Instagram story. I do have summaries of every crazy thing that happened over this past weekend, but we need to discuss what went on Sunday. Just a reminder, we're giving away a subscriber that turns on our notifications on this channel $500, and we're giving away $500 to an Instagram follower as well. Now that we got all that out of the way, break. Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? I wanted to start this video out by giving congratulations to the Cincinnati Bengals and even giving more respect to Joe Burrow for the accomplishments that he was able to do. I mean, that guy had no offensive line whatsoever. I thought that Chris Jones and the Kansas City Chiefs defensive line were going to eventually catch up to Joe Burrow and make the day very tough on him. And inevitably, that's not what happened. Thanks to one, the Cincinnati Bengals just crushing it on offense, and two, the defense of the Cincinnati Bengals really stepping up, which, by the way, Eli Apple deserves to talk some mess now, man. After making that incredible interception a week ago against the Tennessee Titans and then saving a touchdown towards the end of the first half against the Kansas City Chiefs, even though it's going to be very cringy and very annoying, Eli Apple definitely deserves to talk a little mess. I wanted to make sure that before we jumped into everything, I wanted to give credit to the defensive coordinator of the Cincinnati Bengals, Lou Anarumo. I hope I said his name. I hope he becomes a more common name in coaching circles, because what he's done with his team is remarkable. He took players like Eli Apple, Vernon Hargreaves, Mike Hilton, and made them into pretty household names. People were criticizing the Trey Hendrickson signing, and that worked out as well. But in this game, he made one adjustment that completely shook up the entire game, and that's in the beginning of the game. The Cincinnati Bengals dropped 8+ men 25% of the time. Towards the end of the game, they dropped 8+ men 45% of the time. As a result, according to Next Gen Stats, Patrick Mahomes finished the day completing 7 of 13 passes for 59 yards and no touchdowns, and an interception when facing 8 or more men in coverage. To give you an idea, Patrick Mahomes went 18 of 21 for 220 yards and 3 touchdowns in the first half alone. And what was really interesting to me is it seemed like the entire NFL community was united against the Kansas City Chiefs. It's like they wanted the Cincinnati Bengals to win, despite their owner being a scumbag cheapskate that doesn't want to invest in an indoor practice facility.
We'll see if they're able to continue to win with no indoor practice facility.
And Eli Apple coming off as a pompous dickhead on Twitter this past week. Leading up to the AFC Championship, it seemed like the world was united against one cause, and that's watching the Cincinnati Bengals defeat the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC Championship, and the only reason that I could come up with is these two. It's truly frustrating because as a fan of football, I believe Patrick Mahomes needs to be celebrated and even cherished. I've seen many Hall of Fame quarterbacks during my lifespan of being a football fan. I've seen Peyton Manning, I've seen Tom Brady, I've seen Drew Brees, and I've seen Aaron Rodgers. And I don't think I've seen a football player that does the stuff Patrick Mahomes does. And I'm not saying he's better than any of those players. He's different, but he's different in an exciting way. I like comparing him to Steph Curry of the Golden State Warriors, because he's coming in and completely changing the way the game of football is being played. The man makes remarkable throws on the football field and then handles the media with class and dignity off of the football field. He even held himself accountable for the fact that the Kansas City Chiefs lost against the Cincinnati Bengals.
I mean, I got to be better. I mean, when you're up 21-3 at one point in the game, you can't lose it. And I put that on myself.
In his case, I don't think I've seen a single instance where he's trash talked an opponent. And if I'm wrong, let me know, tweet it at me or tag me on Instagram, because I would love to make a Patrick Mahomes trash talking video. He just doesn't seem to be the type. In my opinion, there isn't a legitimate reason to dislike Patrick Mahomes. Yet my entire Instagram feed was filled with memes that pertain to a large majority of NFL fans wanting to team up against the Kansas City Chiefs. And hell, I'm even guilty of posting a couple of memes onto my own story in regards to this, mainly because, well, you guys loved it so damn much. And the reason? Because of these two, Jackson Mahomes and Brittany Matthews. A decent portion of my audience has been been criticizing me for the fact that I've been discussing these two a lot recently. And you might be wondering why, Mike. You're an NFL commentator. You're turning into the TMZ of the NFL. Here's why. This is Kelly Stafford congratulating Matthew Stafford on finally making it to a Super Bowl after a very difficult NFL career. This is a man that was suffering on those Detroit Lions teams. Those teams were going absolutely nowhere. He hadn't even won a playoff game up until this year. And look at the way they're celebrating with class and dignity. Bear in mind, Kelly Stafford, I forgot why, but she came under fire for some reason. If someone remembers, let me know in the comment section. But here's Joe Burrow's girlfriend posting a celebration Instagram picture once her man made it to the Super Bowl against all odds within his first 2 years in the NFL after tearing his ACL in his rookie season, despite the Bengals having a number 5 overall draft pick and him having no offensive line and, let's be honest, a head coach that we're not 100% sold on. Compare that to Brittany Matthews and Jackson Mahomes the weekend before, after the Chiefs won their 4th divisional playoff game in a row. Now, I'm not going to act like there haven't been times in the past where the wives of superstar athletes haven't been criticized for rude behavior. Hell, even Giselle had a low moment when she got drunk off of wine during Super Bowl 46 and criticized Tom Brady's wide receivers. In the case of Jackson and Brittany, however, just off the top of my head, you have Jackson dumping a bottle of water on top of a fan's head, and Patrick had to answer the media for his brother's actions.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's something that we don't want to necessarily do. There was things said to him and Brittany that you don't see kind of on the clip, but I mean, he's been good at it, at not trying to respond to that stuff. He takes a lot, and he's usually pretty good at it, and he'll learn from it. Just try to stay away from those people.
Then you had the incident of him dancing on Sean Taylor's memorial before calling out an understaffed bar for not serving him fast enough. He took to Instagram, and the sole purpose of this story was clearly trying to tarnish this bar's reputation. Yet, when you go to Jackson Mahomes' TikTok profile, it states, "Sup, I get bullied a lot, but I'm still here doing cringy ass dances for the world to see." Well, maybe if you weren't an entitled, self-righteous narcissist who only lives to siphon clout off of your big brother, you wouldn't be bullied. Then there's his partner in crime and Patrick's fiance, Brittany Matthews, which I wanted to start out by saying I see tremendous value in these star athletes marrying their high school sweethearts, especially if you are a superstar athlete. And you are definitely allowed to enjoy all of your man's successes and failures, but with class. When your husband is coming off of an MVP season and he's playing December football in his 2nd full year starting for the Kansas City Chiefs, do your best to not tweet out a disrespectful tweet about Tom Brady, who knocked him out of the playoffs a year prior. I mean, what does this tweet even accomplish aside from making yourself look foolish and making fans potentially dislike Patrick? More recently, Brittany was caught tweeting a lifelong Chiefs fan to kindly shut up when the Chiefs fan was telling her to stop embarrassing the Chiefs fan base. Brittany and Jackson have been criticized repeatedly over the year. So at this point, you'd imagine her thinking maybe she should at least attempt to act more classy. But that's not what would happen. After the Chiefs' 4th division round win in a row, Jackson did another cringy TikTok, whereas Brittany decided to celebrate with a champagne shower, which I'm gonna admit is an acceptable way to celebrate, but she decided to douse the freezing cold fans below her with champagne instead of her own box, which was heated. And when she began to undergo scrutiny for this, she immediately began to play victim, tweeting out, "I just wish I could do what I want without getting attacked every week," which in this tweet alone lies the problem. Poor Brittany, who doesn't get to behave any way she wants. She needs to actually act like a classy human being because her fiance is in a position of success. Poor Brittany, who gets criticized for embarrassing her husband and consistently being a distraction to him off of the field. As a result of this, Brittany teamed up with Charlie Hustle for a campaign that's against bullying, which I'm gonna admit is a very beautiful campaign. As someone that was bullied myself growing up in Texas and in Los Angeles and going from new school to new school to new school, that's a cause I 100% agree with. Hell, even a portion of the proceeds of this t-shirt campaign is going to go to Red Card Kansas City, which again, a fantastic cause. But here's the problem I have with this. Her t-shirt says Team Britney. I mean, when I think Team Britney, I think of the Britney Spears conservatorship controversy, which Britney Spears was literally a hostage underneath her dad. But in this instance, Britney is making the implication that anyone that's criticizing her behavior is bullying her. But you be the judge. This past week, the majority of NFL fans were celebrating the Bengals beating the Chiefs, partially because they were the underdog, partially because Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase are awesome, but primarily because we didn't want to see Jackson and Brittany doing TikTok dances while still DRE was playing in the background of the Super Bowl halftime show. My buddy Jamari said it best when he said, "It's human nature to want to see entitled people lose. The problem here is Patrick Mahomes isn't entitled. He's extremely likable and an incredible ambassador for this league. It's just a shame that Brittany and Jackson love attention so much that they are willing to be an additional distraction to Patrick." Let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section down below. Maybe I'm being too harsh. I'd like to hear what you have to say. Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike. I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.